back in verse 22 in Hebrews 10, right? Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That, like I said, that assurance is that opposite of shirking back. The conviction of things not seen. Conviction is often translated proof or evidence. The evidence for something that we don't see. It's often a misnomer. You all have probably heard the phrase, right? Blind faith. Well, that's fine, but there's a difference between blind faith and faith in something that doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if it's blind. I don't see the wind, yet I know that it's there, right? That's the common illustration. I can feel it. I can often smell. There's lots of senses that I can use. Faith is not meant to be in something that I don't know what's going to happen. I just have faith. Faith is confident. It is proof that what has been said will happen. And you can see the faith from those that we'll look at, and we'll see how that should impact us. So these witnesses are heroes on account of their faith. The chapter is a summary, right? So you're not going to get all the individual stories. We talked about a few of them on Wednesday night, and I mentioned this. Adam, we could probably take the next year and go like person by person, event by event through the chapter, right? So if you want to do that for your own personal study, please have at it. I think the author here is using this as kind of his rolling summary or his last emotional draw before like he said, he's going to hit you next week with this is what your faith should look like. This is what you got to do. And he wants to set them up for that. And we want to set ourselves up for that. This chapter is not aimed at those without faith. It's aimed at people, as we saw at the end of chapter 10, it's aimed at those of you with faith. It's to help encourage your faith, to motivate it. It's aimed at the believer who might be pulled away from Christ. Adam's pointed that out. One of the main themes of the book of Hebrews, Jesus is mo beta, right? It's all about Jesus. These people were being pulled away and tempted to go back to Judaism because it was safe, because the Romans were okay with the way the Jews practiced. The Jews were okay with synagogue and with temple and with everything else. They didn't want this new change. So maybe we'll just kind of stay inside of Judaism. And the author is saying, no, if you go back to that historical partial success, you will be missing out. You won't have the blessings that you need. Okay, so you're not getting an apology. You're not getting some argument here for why, but you're getting a motivational speech. And then he's going to throw, as most teachers do when we teach, is we like to throw these extra nuggets in for those students that are like already getting the main point and they need more. And you're going to get that throughout this passage. So we'll take a look at some of those. I would ask here that, a little weird, I would ask that you all close your Bibles and set them aside for a minute. And as you're doing that, I'll explain. So if you think about ancient timelines, right? The people that are receiving this book of Hebrews are not getting 500 copies to be passed out to everybody in the congregation, right? They're getting probably on a scroll one copy that is going to show up with a messenger, with somebody who the author trusted to carry it to this church and to read it. And so you're probably going to get a sermon as you read it, because the person's not just going to read the words. They're going to have been there with the author. They're going to know their thought process, and they're going to kind of explain as they work through the scroll and read through it. They're going to explain to you what the author means, maybe highlight some